Okay, the next video I wanted to do this morning is a little rant about things I've heard about Windows Vista. Now, Microsoft, I feel, tends to get a bad rap, even worse than they deserve. Anything you read on the internet about Microsoft is either going to be slanted completely in their direction because they wrote it, or it's going to be slanted completely against them because a Linux user wrote it. And there really isn't a lot of middle ground. And, I really feel that people are a little bit too hard on them in general because of that. People tend to go in either direction of, absolutely I love everything they do, or absolutely I hate everything they do. Oh, but I still use Windows. So, it's just kind of back and forth, and it tends to be that way with a lot of things, and I'm guilty of it too. But the point is, Windows Vista is really pissing me off the more I read about it. And I don't know if everything I've read is true or not, but basically the stuff that I've heard, first of all, I've looked at the new features, and there really isn't anything that impresses me that much. It mentions higher security, but I really feel like a lot of security stuff at this point should come from like a good firewall and router and all that. And, if the threat actually gets to your operating system, you're doing something wrong already. So security isn't as big of an issue for me. But, as far as, what are you going to do about security anyway? Because basically the only real option is to either switch to this new Windows Vista, which I'm going to get into in a minute, or switch to Linux, where pretty much you have to really know what you're doing. I really feel like, the average person is probably better off just sticking with Windows, because a lot of the stuff in Linux, even though you can do so much more with security, and it can be so much more secure, you have to actually set it all up yourself. And I would say, 97% of people out there don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, and I'm pretty good with computers. Maybe with certain flavors of Linux it's a little bit easier than others. It can be more secure, a lot easier. I probably need to do the research, and I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But the point is, it's just hard to say. But anyway, so that's why I still use Windows XP. Windows Vista, as far as I can tell, pretty much not only, tries to keep you from being hurt by the outside, it tries to protect you from yourself. It tries to, go through your music collection and make sure everything's registered, and if it's not, it'll try and delete it. Any operating system that goes through and actually tries to delete my files because it doesn't think I should have them is a problem. Not because I steal music, because I actually don't steal music. I own every song you'll ever hear me sing on here on CD. I am better than most about that kind of thing. But any algorithm that's going through and trying to figure out what music is really yours and not is going to screw up sometimes. It can't know that 100% of the time. And if it screws up and deletes some music that I actually own, but, maybe I lost the CD or something, there's something wrong with that. Even if I haven't lost the CD, even if it just deletes all of my music that's just sitting there that I spent like hours ripping off CDs, that's unacceptable. And I honestly think there's no way to prevent that with an operating system that uses that method to prevent that kind of thing. I don't think that kind of thing can be prevented in any other way than just, encouraging people to do it. I've seen all kinds of security measures on CDs, and I haven't seen one that hasn't been cracked yet. don't think it can be prevented by forcing the user to stop doing it. Encouraging the user to stop doing it works. You know, I get on here and I talk about different things, and I'm actually probably going to do a video about piracy and, you know, the different implications of it, but, you know, I just don't think that the methods they're using are going to prevent piracy. If anything, they're just going to piss off everyone in general, including the users who aren't pirating things. So, the other bothersome thing about Windows Vista, aside from the fact that it could end up deleting, you know, files you actually own by accident, is that all of those algorithms that are going through and checking your computer for illegal activity and checking it for security are using up tons of, you know, RAM and processor time. Your computer's resources are being drained to prevent you from doing bad things. It's like you're paying a police officer to walk around your house and make sure you're not doing anything illegal. And like any police officer walking around their house, he's going to accidentally break something, you know? He'll think that your lamp was actually stolen and shoot it, you know? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to have it all work that way. So, I don't know how it's going to go down. Hopefully Windows XP, you know, it's a fairly solid Microsoft operating system. It's the most solid one they've had since like Windows 3.1. So hopefully we'll still be able to use XP for a good long while. And honestly, if it becomes a choice between switching over to Linux or, you know, upgrading to Windows Vista, I'm just going to bite the bullet and figure out how to use Linux, you know? That kind of thing just isn't acceptable. It's not right for a company to care more about other companies than about their customer. And that's really where Microsoft is putting its priorities with this new operating system. I think that's all I'm going to say on this subject for now. I might actually go do that piracy video next, but I guess you'll find that out in a minute. Bye.